The Jamaican retired from the Marine Corps. Yeah, but lieutenant governor is different than governors. I know. What I'm saying is, okay, kind of on topic. It's on topic. It's comical that race because she had no support, not even from Trump, and it's not, it's wrong. Hey, but now all of a sudden she wanted the black support when she's never been black. Candidate Congress. This is John Kitover running in the 16th district. We are here in Springfield. No, we had this discussion earlier. CEO said because she dragged him in 2022. That's why he didn't endorse her. You want to hear something funny? Dick Cheney said,
"Ooh, they kicked me. Ooh." Okay, this is John Kitover, Canada Congressman podcast. Just gonna put these two right here. Aiken's back. Welcome, Aiken. Aiken for love. Aiken.
The hard work that you feel is big for today.
Okay, we'll put the Dow Day Jing on for you.
Dao De Jing can be true. She has let go of herself. She is perfectly fulfilled. 8. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors blind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it, all by ourselves." 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breasts. 21. The Master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. 22. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, Everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, "If you want to be given everything, give everything up," they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. '23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. 25. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. 26. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. "27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. 28. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. If you accept the world, the Tao will be luminous inside you, and you will return to your primal self. The world is formed from the void, like utensils from a block of wood. The master knows the utensils, yet keeps to the block. Thus she can use all things. 29. Do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. There is a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are, without trying to control them. She lets them go their own way and resides at the center of the circle. 30. Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, he doesn't try to convince others. Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. Because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. 31. Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them, except in the direst necessity, and if compelled, will use them only with the utmost restraint. Peace is his highest value. If the peace has been shattered, how can he be content? His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters a battle gravely, with sorrow, and with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral. 32. The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts. When you have names and forms, know that they are provisional. When you have institutions, know where their functions should end. Knowing when to stop, you can avoid any danger. All things end in the Tao, as rivers flow into the sea. 33. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. "34. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. It pours itself into its work, yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds, yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things vanish into it, and it alone endures, it can be called great. It isn't aware of its greatness. Thus, it is truly great. 35. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony, even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy. But words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. 37. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. 38. The master doesn't try to be powerful. Thus, he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power. Thus, he never has enough. The master does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing things, yet many more are left to be done. The kind man does something, yet something remains undone. The just man does something, and leaves many things to be done. The moral man does something, and when no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves and uses force. When the Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is the husk of true faith, the beginning of chaos. Therefore, the master concerns himself with the depths and not the surface, with the fruit and not the flower. He has no will of his own. He dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. "39. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy, the earth becomes depleted, the equilibrium crumbles, creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion because he understands the whole. His constant practice is humility. He doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao, as rugged and common as a stone. 40. Return is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being. Being is born of non-being. When a superior man hears of the Tao, he immediately begins to embody it. When an average man hears of the Tao, he half believes it, half doubts it. When a foolish man hears of the Tao, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. True clarity seems obscure. The greatest art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. The Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things. 42. The Tao gives birth to one. One gives birth to two. Two gives birth to three. Three gives birth to all things. All things have their backs to the female and stand facing the male. When male and female combine, all things achieve harmony. Ordinary men hate solitude, but the Master makes use of it, embracing his aloneness, realizing he is one with the whole universe. 43. The gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non-action. Teaching without words, performing without actions. That is the Master's way. 44. Fame or integrity? Which is more important? Money or happiness? Which is more valuable? Success or failure? Which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. 45. True perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present. True straightness seems crooked. True wisdom seems foolish. True art seems artless. The Master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. 46. When a country is in harmony with the Tao, the factories make trucks and tractors. When a country goes counter to the Tao, warheads are stockpiled outside the cities. There is no greater illusion than fear, no greater wrong than preparing to defend yourself. no greater misfortune than having an enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe. "47. Without opening your door, you can open your heart to the world. Without looking out your window, you can see the essence of the Tao. The more you know, the less you understand." The Master arrives without leaving, sees the light without looking, achieves without doing a thing. "48. In the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It can't be gained by interfering. 49. The Master has no mind of her own. She works with the mind of the people. She is good to people who are good. She's also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy. She also trusts people who aren't trustworthy. This is true trust. The Master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. They look to her and wait. She treats them like her own children. 50. The Master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he is going to die, and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusions in his mind, no resistances in his body. He doesn't think about his actions. They flow from the core of his being. He holds nothing back from life. Therefore, he is ready for death, as a man is ready for sleep after a good day's work. 51. Every being in the universe is an expression of the Tao. It springs into existence, unconscious, perfect, free, takes on a physical body, lets circumstances complete it. That is why every being spontaneously honors the Tao. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself, creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering. That is why love of the Tao is in the very nature of things. "52. In the beginning was the Tao. All things issue from it. All things return to it. To find the origin, trace back the manifestations. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. If you close your mind in judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. If you keep your mind from judging and aren't led by the senses, your heart will find peace. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength. Use your own light and return to the source of light. This is called practicing eternity. 53. The great way is easy, yet people prefer the side paths. Be aware when things are out of balance. Stay centered within the Tao. When rich speculators prosper, while farmers lose their land, when government officials spend money on weapons instead of cures, when the upper class is extravagant and irresponsible, while the poor have nowhere to turn, all this is robbery and chaos. It is not in keeping with the Tao. 54. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. 55. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful. It doesn't know about the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. It can scream its head off all day, yet it never becomes hoarse. So complete is its harmony. The Master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly, without desire. He never expects results. Thus he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed. Thus his spirit never grows old. "56. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth. Block off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honored or brought into disgrace. It gives itself up continually. That is why it endures. 57. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. The more prohibitions you have, the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people will be. The more subsidies you have, the less self-reliant people will be. Therefore, the Master says, I let go of the law, and people become honest. I let go of economics, and people become prosperous. I let go of religion, and people become serene. I let go of all desire for the common good, and the good becomes common as grass. 58. If a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty. When the will to power is in charge, the higher the ideals, the lower the results. Try to make people happy, and you lay the groundwork for misery. Try to make people moral, and you lay the groundwork for vice. Thus the Master is content to serve as an example and not to impose her will. She is pointed, but doesn't pierce. Straightforward, but supple. Radiant, but easy on the eyes. 59. For governing a country well, there is nothing better than moderation. The mark of a moderate man is freedom from his own ideas. Tolerant like the sky, all-pervading like sunlight, firm like a mountain, supple like a tree in the wind. He has no destination in view, and makes use of anything life happens to bring his way. Nothing is impossible for him. Because he has let go, he can care for the people's welfare, as a mother cares for her child. '60. Governing a large country is like frying a small fish. You spoil it with too much poking. Center your country in the Tao, and evil will have no power. Not that it isn't there, but you'll be able to step out of its way. Give evil nothing to oppose, and it will disappear by itself. 61. When a country obtains great power, it becomes like the sea. All streams run downward into it. The more powerful it grows, the greater the need for humility. Humility means trusting the Tao, thus never needing to be defensive. A great nation is like a great man. When he makes a mistake, he realizes it. Having realized it, he admits it. Having admitted it, he corrects it. He considers those who point out his faults as his most benevolent teachers. He thinks of his enemy as the shadow that he himself casts. If a nation is centered in the Tao, if it nourishes its own people and doesn't meddle in the affairs of others, it will be a light to all nations in the world. 62. The Tao is the center of the universe, the good man's treasure, the bad man's refuge. Honors can be bought with fine words. Respect can be won with good deeds. But the Tao is beyond all value, and no one can achieve it. Thus, when a new leader is chosen, don't offer to help him with your wealth or your expertise. Offer instead to teach him about the Tao. Why did the ancient masters esteem the Tao? Because, being one with the Tao, when you seek, you find. And when you make a mistake, you are forgiven. That is why everybody loves it. 63. Act without doing. Work without effort. Think of the small as large, and the few as many. Confront the difficult while it is still easy. Accomplish the great task by a series of small acts. The master never reaches for the great. Thus she achieves greatness. When she runs into a difficulty, she stops and gives herself to it. She doesn't cling to her own comfort. Thus, problems are no problem for her. 64. What is rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. What is small is easy to scatter. Prevent trouble before it arises. Put things in order before they exist. A giant pine tree grows from a tiny sprout. The journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath your feet. Rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. Therefore, the master takes action by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the Tao. Thus, he can care for all things. 65. The ancient masters didn't try to educate the people, but kindly taught them to not know. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, avoid being clever or rich. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. '66. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her. 67. Some say that my teaching is nonsense. Others call it lofty, but impractical. But to those who have looked inside themselves, this nonsense makes perfect sense. And to those who put it into practice, this loftiness has roots that go deep. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate toward yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. 68. The best athlete wants his opponent at his best. The best general enters the mind of his enemy. The best businessman serves the communal good. The best leader follows the will of the people. All of them embody the virtue of non-competition. Not that they don't love to compete, but they do it in the spirit of play. In this, they are like children, and in harmony with the Tao. 69. The generals have a saying: rather than make the first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it is better to retreat a yard. This is called going forward without advancing, pushing back without using weapons. There's no greater misfortune than underestimating your enemy. Underestimating your enemy means thinking that he is evil. Thus, you destroy your three treasures and become an enemy yourself. When two great forces oppose each other, the victory will go to the one that knows how to yield. 70. My teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice. Yet your intellect will never grasp them, and if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart. 71. Not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. First realize that you are sick. Then you can move toward health. The master is her own physician. She has healed herself of all knowing. Thus, she is truly whole. 72. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without a teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. 73. The Tao is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. Its net covers the whole universe, and though its meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through. 74. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. If you aren't afraid of dying, there is nothing you can't achieve. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are that you'll cut your hand. 75. When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. 76. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. 77. As it acts in the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward. The bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there is no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think that she is better than anyone else. 78. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart, because he has given up helping. He is people's greatest help. True words seem paradoxical. 79. Failure is an opportunity. If you blame someone else, there is no end to the blame. Therefore, the master fulfills her own obligations and corrects her own mistakes. She does what she needs to do and demands nothing of others. 80. If a country is governed wisely, its inhabitants will be content. They enjoy the labor of their hands and don't waste time inventing labor-saving machines. Since they dearly love their homes, they aren't interested in travel. There may be a few wagons and boats, but these don't go anywhere. There may be an arsenal of weapons, but nobody ever uses them. People enjoy their food, take pleasure in being with their families, spend weekends working in their gardens, delight in the doings of the neighborhood. And even though the next country is so close that people can hear its roosters crowing and its dogs barking, they are content to die of old age without ever having gone to see it. 81. True words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. Wise men don't need to prove their point. Men who need to prove their point aren't wise. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao nourishes by not forcing. By not dominating, the master leads.
There was a man, you know. Look at. If I've driven, which I have, from Texas to California, many different ways, many different times, at many different points, it's just a belief. How do you know you're not amazing? It's just a. I'm speaking to T right now. How do you know that? I don't. Okay, so how do you know you're speaking to anybody? I don't. How do you know you exist?
Is JCC speaking right now? Who's he talking to?
Why is this happening? How do you know this is even happening?
JCC, are you a real man? Are you a real human being, JCC?
Noises. Is that like, what are those noises? Do y'all hear that? So, what's the answer, T? How do you know any of these things that you're saying? How do you know you read a book? How do you know you explained it to us? What's the answer? I've already answered that question, right? How do you know you have? I'm not convinced. Pragmatic theory of truth. Pragmatic theory of truth. I don't understand your question beyond that. How do you know you don't understand my question? Okay,
the answer is not going to change.
I will stop. I will stop now. Not that I bother, but I don't want other people to be bored.
Ruben, don't you understand? Atheists refuse to be in book clubs. They hate words, they hate books and concepts. They just want to deny, and basically play the antithesis or the opposite of a theist. That's what they want to do, is just say everything you think or all the words you know are basically not essential because it's all just imaginary. And therefore, we don't like the book clubs, so don't bring your book club around here. That's basically what they're saying.
Are you speaking for atheists because you're an atheist, John?
I'm trying to think about the perspective and the communication exchange between atheists and theists, because the position of an atheist is basically a negation or a nothingness. There's nothing there. So that's my opinion. I'm trying to make an observational analysis.
But are you an atheist was the question.
No, I believe in words and books and concepts.
No, because I just don't know who you're referring to.
The woman, JCC, whatever her name is, JCC, the woman with the long hair and that big ugly grin.
Javan Construction Company. That's right.
Jefferson, I'm not being a troll. I'm trying to understand the perspective of an atheist and what they actually believe in, which is really nothing. They do not believe in anything. Maybe science and the observational methodology to try to recreate experiments, but for the most part, it's book club or not book club. That's all it is. That's the whole argument. Is I hate your book. I hate your book club. I don't want to be a part of it. And I am also in a science fiction book club, but why is my science fiction book club not as cool as your Bible book club, basically?
Vote for John Kitover! Vote for John Kitover! Please vote for John Kitover!
I really think you should do some research on that so you're not so misinformed on it, John.
All right, well, tell me what I should be looking up to become more well-informed.
What atheists believe.
Well, what do atheists believe? Just tell me.
Subscribe and vote. Like, subscribe, and vote for John Kitover, everyone.
I mean, I've read Christopher Hitchens, I've read Richard Dawkins, and that to me is just more spam. It's just more communication telling me why religion is wrong and evil and the biggest threat to mankind. Do you think all dictators use religion to maintain their fascist ideology? Is that essential in a dictatorship?
Actually, research what atheists believe, not like what talking heads say, right? Because those people are talking heads. They're not like representing.
I love the talking heads. You may find yourself in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself living in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, "How did I get here?"
It's just if you listen to the talking heads, not the band talking heads, which I love, by the way. Letting the days go by. It's just you're going to get the wrong impression because you're going to lump in the baby with the bathwater.
So wait, is JCC the bathwater, and is it dirty, or is he the baby?
What a wonderful show we've had today. Katura, thank you for opening this show. Very, very kind of you. You're really drawing the audience, don't you?
Thank you so much for co-hosting with me. Sure, thank you, Mr. Jefferson.
I mean, if you go look at the Romans and all the insane religious behavior that they were doing with Apollo and Mercury, in that regards, I can see why all theists or Christians or Jews or Muslims are essentially just full of shit, because if they're not open to the universal God as opposed to their one specific prophet or deity. Um, you know, they're trying to essentially spam you.
No, the Bible says, tell him twice, kick the dust off your feet. So, in Christianity, you're not supposed to patronize people.
No, I'm not patronizing. I'm just trying to like say that if you believe in one specific deity and his name is Jesus Christ or Allah, but you're not willing to go through the history books and see how other people throughout other times have worshipped this deity, you have to come to the rational conclusion that your one specific book club choice is ludicrous. You have to be open to all book club choices, in my opinion.
No, because the Bible describes that as being fickle-minded. You're not like steadfast. You're not
Well, you know, these books deal with intelligence, psychology, and emotional management, regulation, wisdom. And so, if you read the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu from 2,700 years ago, you will realize that this deity, which created reality or is reality itself, is already in the literature. It's in the Tao Te Ching, and it's from China. Or you can go to India and read the Upanishads. It's talking about a supreme intelligence, not necessarily the creator, but some type of supreme intelligence.
right. So I know about the Tao and all that. Like I heard of that stuff. I don't subscribe to Eastern or any like other beliefs because the Bible already has everything in it. If you want to look for wisdom, you go to Proverbs and you read about King Solomon. And if you want to think about love, right? The Bible is full of philosophy. Right? The Bible is a book of philosophy, so I don't have to read other books. And the Bible has every answer you could possibly want in the universe.
I'm gonna ask you a question, okay?
Sure.
And there's no pressure. You can say you don't know, or you can laugh, or you can you want, right? So let's say I'm coming up to a traffic signal now, right? And I went through and green, but if it was red and I stopped, okay, right, and I heard a honk, and I looked to my left, and it was the most beautiful and attractive woman I've ever seen, right? And she blew me a kiss, okay? Now, if let's say I was a Christian, right, and I had a genuine question. What do I do in that situation? Do I ignore her? Do I blow her his back? Do I call the police? Do I shout at her? Do I all these things that I do? What does the Bible? What's the answer that the Bible gives me in that analogy?
Stay away from her.
Pardon?
Just stay away from her. She's like a Lilith. She's a Jezebel.
Yeah, but where does it say that? What does that mean, though, stay away from?
Well, the Bible says he who finds the wife finds a good thing. So that means if she's actively searching, if she's actively searching for a man, then she's masculine because that's the man's job.
Yeah, I don't. You sound like you're falling asleep, my friend.
No, I'm not falling asleep.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just think I could think of thousands of questions that people say the Bible's answer. You know, like if another one then. If I was walking on the road and I saw a quarter on the road, can I pick it up? Am I allowed to? Should I leave it? Should I put an ad saying, I found this? Should I give it to the police? What should I do as a Christian? And I'm looking for the verse.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I have no idea. I don't think the Bibles do answer questions. Do you know one thing that I would have thought that would have been in the Bibles? I'm speaking about the Torah as well, a complete comprehensive list of all vegetation that's poisonous or not. It seems to be like something from a Saw movie that you're put into this situation where you don't know really anything.
No way. You found my channel.
I'm not speaking about the New Testament. I'm speaking about the Torah.
Well, it's not new anymore.
It's new if you've never spent a minute reading it and all you do is come on Clubhouse and talk all day long. Because in the book club, there's wisdom to be held. In these books, all you got to do is open the books and read them. They're external storage hard drives for your brain yet to be discovered.
I'll read them. I don't mind reading things. I like to read. I have a list of books that I'm going to order really soon.
I don't believe you.
I like to read. You want me to take a picture of my very little book collection? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing, but it's there. I have more books, but I lost a lot of my books transitioning from home. But I like to read. I don't mind reading. I call them occult books. I don't mind reading, but I would never practice.
What does occult mean? Does that just mean hidden knowledge? What does that word mean, occult?
Yeah, like esoteric hidden knowledge that is not of God. Now, I'm an esoteric, but I'm Christian, so I like Christian mysticism. I like.
Was Jesus a mystic? Was he a magician? What was he doing? Did he know the Kabbalah?
A Christian mystic, just like you can be a Jewish mystic, just like you can be an Islamic mystic.
Can you be an atheist mystic?
I don't know.
JCC, can we get a ruling here? Honey, can you be an atheistic mystic?
Yep.
Well, Sam Harris is talking about, being like spiritual, he was talking about the importance of being spiritual. So if you understand mysticism as something spiritual, then yes.
If I just take a deep breath.
Atheists don't believe in like heaven or hell.
Yeah, if you think like spiritual things, like let's say I was paddleboarding, and it was something
That not a lot of people have done, right? But I'm doing it, and then I have some mystical experience with some like pilot whales or something, and then I dive into the ocean, and I get to the cooler water below. Right, and then I see some orcas pop up, and then I watch one attack a great white shark in front of me, and I come up. I don't agree with that. I could claim that was a spiritual. I could claim that's a spiritual experience, right? And no one would be able to tell me that it's not. And if you want to tell me that it's not, you'd have to explain yourself.
What do you think Sam Harris means when he says that that spirituality is important for everybody to have? What do you think he means by that?
I don't know. What did he say?
He's saying he was talking about the importance of spirituality.
I don't know, man. I mean, you'd have to I'm not reading Sam Harris. I mean, why don't you explain it to us? What do you think?
Well, he's really smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is. Sam Harris is awesome.
Apparently, he's really smart. So he is.
He's
telling basically even atheists, right? They should have some
this
spiritual understanding about stuff, and that they need to engage in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Spirituality,
what is
fulfilling, and
stuff.
stuff.
Referring to.
I was trying to understand what he meant by that.
I'm trying to answer your question. I think he's just referring to a general concern for the human condition. That's all he means by it.
What did you read it or something, or do you think that, based on your understanding of him, that's what you
just based, I didn't read those exact words. It's just my understanding from reading him.
Oh, spiritual towards the preservation of humanity. Is that what you think?
Yeah, health and well-being, that type of thing. Things that generally make us happy and prosper as a society, right?
Yeah. He thinks.
I mean, what do you think he means, Islamic? What's a spirit? What would be spiritual?
I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out. If he doesn't believe in anything supernatural, what does it mean by?
Maybe you should look into more work and figure out what he means.
I was saying if you guys knew what he meant.
I have no idea.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like I said, I gave you an experience that could be considered spiritual. So I don't see like it's all for each person's individual, right?
I think I gave you a pretty good answer, right? I think that's probably the best answer you're gonna get.
Yeah. Spiritual about something that you truly believe in, right? So if you truly believe in the preservation of humanity, you're going to invoke some spiritual understanding of that. So it's whatever you think is important, whatever you deem is important, you should be spiritualistic.
Yeah, and if you want to call it spiritual, that's
well, he does anyway.
Decide to call it spiritual, and it'll suffice. Yeah.
He recognizes the benefits of being spiritual. Now, what spiritual is acting as if your soul exists and you act accordingly. What benefits that soul? If the soul doesn't exist, then you can't be spiritual.
What's the soul again? Can you define that?
They don't believe the soul exists.
Yeah, sounds like but we don't need to talk about something anymore. What's the soul, Arban? What is that?
Well, soul is what makes you, which is external of your body, independent of it.
Now we're gonna go into like LARP Town 89 IQ level shit. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so.
Well, what is a soul exactly? I mean, is it the word sun in Spanish? It's a word game. Honey, can't you just accept the word game?
When someone dies, right? They lose something. When someone dies, they lose something. We would say he lost his soul. His soul left his body. That's way to say that. Animated. So what would be your explanation?
So that's just a figure of speech. Generally, soul actually refers to the person itself. And you hear this in when a pilot reports an emergency, the ATC will ask him, how many souls on board? It refers to a living person. And then, much later, there was sort of like this new age thing where the soul became not the person themselves, which is, if you read the Bible, what it's actually talking about, right? But instead, the thing which animates the person or is external to the person. It's a very recent invention.
That's what I said, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a very recent invention as far as our language goes.
Somebody step on a duck.
You agree that the person who dies, something of him is lost.
What do you mean, like his metabolistic processes? Sure. Right.
Oh, is that all?
Metabolism? No, that's not all. Right.
Separation.
No, like other things like his heartbeat, respiration, things like that. There's a lot that gets lost. Right.
I see. So, I guess you believe that after we die, since there is no soul in the way that we mean it, it's just, you become dust and bones.
I haven't heard how you mean it.
So what is Gnosticism, and how can you merge with the supposed deity that the atheists deny exists? Has anyone had a merging experience, a Gnostic experience with the deity itself? Anyone? Or just maybe felt something in their pants?
Wait, hold on. What does Gnostic experience mean?
It's like a merger between, the self and the deity.
Man, you're a religious person. That's crazy.
So, Armand, when someone claims Gnosticism, they claim knowledge, right? They know it to be the case.
It takes from what.
So a Gnostic.
Yeah, I've never.
Well, that's
sorry. Go ahead.
So now you know what it means. So, have you heard, or have you yourself have knowledge of any experience that you're experienced the deity that you know exists?
Oh no, like in terms of like seeing him or like. Giving him a high five or something like that. No, not really.
Okay, so you don't know for certain, right? Okay, cool, awesome.
No, I've never had such an experience where I touched God or God revealed himself in front of me or something. No, I never had something like that. What I had was, just looking at the world rationally and determining whether or not it's more likely a product of intelligence and intention versus not.
What makes it a product of
That's
intelligence?
actually how most of us.
What makes it a
Sorry,
product
that's actually how most of us.
What makes it a product of intelligence?
The fact that the objects that we see are very within it. We see systems that are balanced with other systems. And,
Cool. Okay.
This points to, in terms of intelligence, it points to, well, if this, I was going to explain that. So, like, for example, if I open up a car engine and kind of investigate it, I'll see that, whoever put this together. One second, let me just finish my answer if I could.
Your analogy of a
Can I just finish my answer?
I've heard this before. It's a watchmaker.
Oh, can I just finish my answer?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we'll look at that and we'll think to ourselves that, whoever put this together had some understanding of how combustion works.
Yeah, because we know humans know.
Had some understanding.
Yeah, because humans
hold
design
on.
things. Yeah.
Well, I'm not making an argument here. I'm not.
Humans
Hold on.
design things and build things.
Just hold on.
We're gonna get your point.
So basically, what we have here is, we have evidence that whoever put this together has some kind of intelligence, has an understanding of concepts such as combustion, such as weight, such as material. He understands material science. Because if the materials were different, like for example, if the engine was made out of wood or something of that nature, that it would fail, and so this is the evidence that I'm showing. So this is the evidence that I'm suggesting. But anyway, go ahead, man.
That's not Arbonne. It's Islamic, dude.
Yeah. No, I thought it was Arbonne.
No, it's Islamic. That's why he's doing this. He's just a fucking nut job, dude.
Are you familiar with the sharpshooter fallacy? Arbonne was off mute, so I'm confused, right? So Islamic. So you're using the argument from intelligent design because you understand that it takes a thinking agent to make things that don't come about naturally, right? And then you look at the universe.
What do you mean come about naturally? What does that mean?
Hello. I let you blow. You know what? Have a great day, Islamic. You're going to interrupt me nonstop because you're
Don't, JCC.
You're a fucking hypocrite. You must.
Are you familiar with the sharpshooter fallacy?
Yeah. So the point is, like, you're arguing for things that we agree. Yes, there must be a thinking agent to make a watch. Cool. That doesn't entail just because you see something complex. Therefore, it entails there must be a thinking agent behind that as well, right? That's a mistake. That's an argument from incredulity.
Well, it's also the sharpshooter fallacy.
Well, it would seem that.
Hold on just 1 second. It's also the sharpshooter.
I thought he was asking me. I thought I was answering his question.
Hold on just 1 second.
You want to interrupt me? Go ahead.
No, I know. I'm trying to.
Islamic is horrible. Notice he said nothing.
It's also an example of the sharpshooter fallacy because what you did was you took a specific piece of evidence and then you drew the target such that the bullseye lands on it and ignored all of the things that don't hit the bullseye.
What I did was I looked at reality and I realized that whenever you have systems balanced with other systems, the most rational explanation is that someone balanced it, which would require intelligence.
So, what's the argument for that?
So, no, I'm just making an inference, right?
I know. What is the argument for the inference? Please?
It's called an inference, right?
I know.
So an inference is when you have
build stuff. That's all.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the other guy keeps interrupting, so I don't know.
That's all you have, dude. Humans build things.
He wants to provide more rhetoric.
Humans build things
because we have lots of counter examples, which would make the inference wrong, right?
Oh, okay. So you have evidence that everything that came about via non-intentionally, right?
That is not what I said.
Oh,
what I said was, hold on. What I said was, and I prefer that you don't put words in my mouth. What I said was that we have ample counter examples, which would make the inference not accurate.
Can you give me one counter example?
Sure.
Exactly.
Chemicals falling into water.
Poo.
Chemicals what?
Chemicals falling into lower energy states achieve equilibrium absent an intelligent force.
Okay. So the last part, absence and intelligent force. What is your evidence that this is absent and intelligent force?
We don't see any evidence of intelligence in the process.
So absence of evidence is evidence of absence?
Yes, in the case.
You want to talk about fallacies now?
Yes, it is.
You want to talk about fallacies now?
I'm not. Hold on. Excuse me. I didn't give a blanket yes. I was trying to qualify. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence when the evidence is predicted and yet not observed.
Oh, okay. Observe the hand of God, putting these things together, therefore there is no hand of God, right?
That was not what I said.
He was saying that atheists refuse to participate in the book club, and as a result, there's no evidence because everything is just, science fiction, superstitious nonsense, and, therefore it's all just imagination. And
You said that there are examples of things unintentional.
Excuse me, you have me wrong. I didn't say anything about intention. No, I didn't. Not once.
Okay. So then I have a question. So, but do you believe that, the way the world is structured is all unintentional?
I don't believe the world is structured. So, let's start there.
Really?
Yeah.
The world is not structured?
No. It's structured. Structure has like a very specific connotation that I just don't think applies.
Do you believe systems exist within our universe?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm referring to, right?
Well, that doesn't make them. That doesn't mean they're structured, though. Systems can be
that's
structured. No, I'm
yeah.
Systems can
be. I don't think systems can be. Well, if it follows a pattern, then it's structured.
Doesn't have to. Systems don't have to follow a pattern.
Are talking to business.
Absolutely, right?
Where is your degree?
Right, an example of a system that doesn't follow a pattern is basically all of systems chemistry. That's like the entire thing that we're studying is the way in which the chemicals don't have to work in patterns. Right?
Like the behavior.
They can do. Hold on, I wasn't done yet. If you would mind interrupting, they can do things like achieve equilibrium, and then this environment can change, and equilibrium can be unachieved. Right? It's one of those things where there's no pattern to that. Right? It's very much a influx, constantly changing system.
Well, there are patterns to the behavior of atoms and molecules, which are.
But we're describing the system.
Which are. Hold on. Let me finish.
Right.
Let me finish.
Which
are a direct. No, you haven't let me finish. That's probably why you're confused. So if you let me finish, yeah. So the behavior of atoms and molecules, right, follow a pattern, and this pattern is directly responsible to the systems that we see come about. So there are patterns, right? Even no matter what you say, right. No matter any way you look at it, if there were no patterns, we wouldn't be able to study the universe in the way that we are able to currently. Everything would just kind of be a shot in the dark. But thankfully, there are patterns, and these patterns give rise to systems that are also balanced with other systems. And so this all seems very intentional. I don't see a reason for me to believe that these things can come about via unintentional.
Isn't that a common sense fallacy?
No, because when I look at the world,
hold on a second.
Bullshit.
I believe that is a common sense fallacy because what
common sense fallacy.
Hold on, because what you said was, it seems like. That's the common sense fallacy.
Yeah, and the reason it seems like that is because we understand that whenever it comes to an object, right, and we see that within that object you have systems to balance with other systems, we see that the reason why the most rational explanation is that someone put it together is because we have many examples of that. We have human beings put together things that are multi-layered in complexity and in balanced systems. And so when we see that, we see, hey, you know what? The tree is, the same. It follows a pattern. You have within it systems that are balanced with other systems. Hey, the human beings,
it's going to keep repeating itself.
Well, I thought I gave you evidence to suggest.
No. You gave me a fallacy, which is it seems like that's a fallacy.
No. The reason it's not a fallacy is because I'm using real world instantiations of objects that come about via rational thought, and I see the parallels between that and also the systems that exist within things that human beings did not make.
You're just repeating your fallacy now.
It's not what point are you trying to make? Because it's like you're just using big words that even I'm a Muslim, that I'm not even trying to understand where you're coming from.
You're just saying it seems like it. It's not an
I was saying that, you know, when you have the reason why we believe that someone put these things together is because we see that it has this property of systems being balanced with other systems, right? So when you look at the human being, you see that the circulatory system is balanced with the skeletal system, which is balanced with the central nervous system. And I can go on and on, the digestive system. I can go on and show how, because they all work together towards a common purpose, which is to try to keep me alive, that this was intentional, because we see the same thing with things that we put together, right? Objects that we put together, when we put them together, the same thing is achieved. We have multiple layers of complexity that all work towards a single purpose. So I'm just drawing a parallel to... No, I don't think that's begging the question.
Well, I'll explain why it is. Because what you said was, because I infer intention, therefore it's intention. Because it seems...
No.
Hold on, that was your argument just now, right? Because it seems intentional, therefore...
Why does it seem intentional? Did you get it? Can you get into that?
That was your argument, right?
No. Why did I... Look, you asked for evidence for why it seems intentional, right?
No, but it doesn't...
So I just gave it to you. Can you repeat? Can you repeat my response to why I said it seemed intentional?
Here's the thing. If it doesn't seem intentional, it seems evolved, right? So, I mean, we just play that silly game and it doesn't go anywhere, right?
So it looks like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I think Islamic, to break it down like in a much more like simple form, I think what Islamic is trying to say is that if you look at the world around us and you look at the the alteration of the day and night and how our body just is a sign within itself that there has to be a creator. Just like, for example, if I was to be walking on the road and I was to see a phone on the floor, for example, my natural instinct isn't to think, this thing just appeared from nowhere without any purpose, and that nobody actually thought about the design, and like it just appeared from nowhere and it just is what it is. That even just our bodies and the way our body operates itself is a sign that there has to be somebody, who orchestrated it, who created it, who put thought and intent behind it. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I understood him the first time. You didn't need to repeat the argument. I understood that he said, because it seems intentional, therefore it's intentional.
Well, what's your issue with
intentionality?
Yeah, I didn't disagree with it.
Hey, baby.
What's your disagreement, T? Because it seems like you're having like an issue with it. It's an explanation if you agreed with it.
He didn't provide an explanation. He just said it seems intentional. I said, well, it seems evolved. So where do we go from there?
So you're saying that we came about through evolution? Is that a point that you're trying to come from?
No, not at all. No, I just said it seems evolved. I'm making the same argument he is, right?
Mm-hmm. And what if this evolution isn't directed by someone who intended it?
I didn't say anything about direction or intention. I said it seems evolved, right?
I understand. But see how I provided a deeper explanation for why I said it seems that way, but you have not.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Because of the history of evolutionary development and the nature of biological systems.
What about you that it wasn't put together?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What about that? Those facts that you just named that you believe in. What about that tells you that there is no designer?
I see no evidence of design. I see only evidence of a continual chemical process.
But what else do you have to say that this continuous chemical process wasn't a design process?
I just told you. I literally answered that question. I see no evidence of a design process. I see only a continuous chemical process.
So you don't really have any evidence then, right?
I have no evidence of a method of design.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
You have a reason for me?
Method of design. Right? What I do have is lots and lots of evidence of a method of evolution by which these types of systems achieve equilibrium. Right? That's what I have.
Just answer your question. Once again, just to better understand where you're coming from, like, what's your belief? Do you believe in anything? Do you believe that there's a God? Like, what's the foundation of your understanding?
Regarding what? Like, you have to be a little
Like the foundation of your understanding of your beliefs. Like, what would you believe in?
What do you mean by the foundation of my understanding of my
Can I take it from here, T? Can I take it from, excuse me. The question is totally irrelevant. You're asking a man about his belief. He's approaching things from an experiential point of view. He knows things for a fact. And he's got an enormous...
No, I never said anything.
Are you believe chicken is better than
That's not my truth.
When it comes to the scientific method, you don't approach things by belief. You know things through a huge body of evidence. You require an evidence when you claim that there is a design.
No. There's this thing called Clubhouse. What's called again? Normally, I wanted to speak to like my friends from Ghana and stuff like that. But it's like people speak about atheists and religion and stuff like that, so you can speak to them.
Bansi, your questions are totally irrelevant. You don't understand what's taking place here. When you ask for an evidence for someone who's following a scientific method, is given a huge, enormous body of evidence. When you're asking for evidence for someone who's following a scientific method, he's got all the evidence in the world to present to you. But when you are saying design, that necessarily, linguistically speaking, implies a designer, and that's when you need to provide an evidence for your designer, whatever it is, right? So the question when it comes to belief, to someone who's following a scientific method,
let him finish. Joshua, let him finish, because I think
he's making no sense.
No, he's not making no. I agree 100%. I'm listening to you, so I can respond.
One last thing.
I'm listening.
Hold on.
I'm listening, Josh. I'm sorry.
It's been a while since we heard from T. We really appreciate you coming back to this platform, T. So yeah, good to see you back. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, the evidence would be that these systems come together to benefit the survival of the human race, because the purpose of the world is for the human race to continue for a time until it's decided that he's going to end the world. So these systems that are in place,
God's gonna end the world? When is that calendar event?
The survival of the human race. So we would say that that's good evidence. That's a good sign that someone.
Why are there police sirens in your background?
They're coming to get back. It's totally irrelevant. Anyway, Islamic. That was a good.
Can I speak?
Unfortunately, it comes down when it comes down to design. You don't mind evidence for your design at Islamic Day. So you're begging the question. It's all about you providing an evidence for your claimed designer. That is basically inferred from your analogy of design that you're stating.
Earlier, can I speak now? Because you made a very good point. Can I speak and answer you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I agree with you when you say the claims are from the claimant. So I agree with you 100%. But obviously, I'm only coming into this conversation, and you understand my belief as a Muslim. But equally as well, I need to understand where because all the points that I bring to you, you're gonna disagree with it based upon the belief that you believe in. So I'm guessing you believe in the scientific method, right?
Bansi, with all the respect to your belief and to your religion and to everything that has to do with it, it isn't about belief. Belief is one approach to come to understand existence. Not every single person approaches existence or tries to understand existence through belief. There is the other method, which is just knowing stuff through first-hand experience, through scientific evidence. You don't have to believe things. To believe something necessitates that you have got nothing, you have got no idea about what it actually is, and that's why you believe in it, because you don't know what it is. So you have to take someone's word for granted.
Not really.
That's a totally different approach. So not every single person has to believe in something.
Okay, I'm gonna let
you go around and throw your claims around everyone that you believe in something, the other person believes in.
People don't believe. I don't approach things through belief, for example. You see, I don't have to believe in things. I know things. Some things I don't know. I humbly say, I don't know what you're talking about. Period. That's it.
So, Ilya, that's definitely
That's
not how
silly.
epistemology works. You're not speaking. Hold on just 1 second. You're not speaking for everyone's epistemology there.
Earlier, again, you keep speaking over me. So whenever I try to make my point, then you keep cutting me. While I keep listening to the point that you make, even though I don't agree with it 1000%. Like for example, you mentioned that the belief is based upon something that you can substantiate. There's two types of belief. There's belief that you can substantiate with evidence and proof. Like for you, for example, if I was to ask you, do you believe that your mother is your mother? You say yes, even though you may not have proof that your mother is your mother. Because you wasn't like you can't remember. The only thing you have is a birth certificate saying that you was born at this hospital and this person was your mother. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that argument doesn't really make sense to me either. I think there's two types of beliefs. Belief that you can substantiate with evidence, and there's belief that is based upon no evidence, of course, because you just believe in it out of hearsay. But to go back to
I have a rebuttal.
Say it again.
I have a rebuttal to that.
Okay, go on, I'm listening.
Okay, Bonsi. Bonsi. Can you stop being so fucking right?
I find that epistemology to be woefully inadequate as well. I just think that there's a lot of pieces missing in order to make all those gears mesh.
Well, you just kind of criticized you without providing anything or just adding any to the conversation. I see things through either knowing them firsthand, experientially speaking, through a scientific method, or believing in them. And you have to believe in something when you have got no idea about how it functions or what it is. So that's why you need to take someone else's word for granted. Those are the two approaches in life. Some people approach existence through belief. Some people approach existence through knowledge and knowing things firsthand. To me, I don't believe in things, I just know things. How is it to you, T? Please enlighten us.
Well, thank you for repeating your position again, because I think we've heard it enough times.
Try to sum it up.
But I'd like to fill in some of those gears.
Gosh, I would love to say what my opinion is, but I will.
You actually did ask me, right? So if you wouldn't mind, for what I think that people hold propositional attitudes. That is to say that they're aware of propositions, and they hold an attitude whether or not that proposition is true or not. We call those propositional attitudes beliefs. So if I just say, hey, I think the cat is on the mat. It's a proposition, the cat is on the mat. I have an attitude towards it. I think it's true, right? And then when we have, a certain set of combinations of propositions, which we believe are true, and we have good justification for them, it's like another gear in this cog that we haven't even touched on yet, justification for a belief, then we would say that we have knowledge when we say that a proposition is believed, true, and we have justification for it. Then we can talk about what might warrant justification.
So in other words, we're playing on the lingo and linguistics and semantics of what a belief is, and in your understanding, something that is known firsthand is just a belief for which we've got some sort of like substantialism, or what would you call it? Substantial evidence, probably. I'm trying to...
No, I didn't say anything about evidence. I said justification. And no, I'm not playing on words. You started by providing a semantic, and I'm pointing out the reason why I think the semantic that you provided is incomplete.
Well, I think I've provided a very comprehensive and simplistic understanding of what knowing something is, what believing something is. You try just to categorize everything under the umbrella of knowing things, and you just...
No, I didn't do that at all. No, you misunderstood me entirely. No, you misunderstood me entirely.
For you,
right?
Okay, let me.
You completely got my position wrong. You must have not heard a word I said. Hold on. You must have not heard a word I said. Right?
I did.
Because I said, hold on. Because I said when a specific set of criteria are met, that's when we know something. right? A very specific set of criteria must be met for something to be considered knowledge. So no, I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say anything like, I just lump it all under knowledge. No. I defined 3 very specific criterias which must be met for something to be considered knowledge.
What are those criteria?
Well, those criteria again.
Okay, so I obviously you weren't listening, right? The first criteria was that it's a proposition which is held to be true. I call that belief, right? The second criteria is that it's actually true, independent of whether or not we think it's true, right? And the third was that we have justification for saying that it's true. Those are the 3 criteria which warrant knowledge.
Well, T, we're listening to you. The second criteria, which is a belief of it being true, again.
No, that was the first
under
criteria.
the umbrella of belief.
No, that was the first criteria.
The first criteria is the proposition as you laid it out. The second
is a propositional attitude. The first criteria is a propositional attitude. The second criteria is a state of affairs in reality. And the third is a justification. 3 different things.
So for something to be known as true, it necessitates it being believed with some sort of a justification to you, right? Again, we're putting everything under the umbrella of belief. This is something I totally refuse. A belief is something.
I didn't say anything. It's all under the umbrella of belief. I define what.
Well, let's not simplify things for the sake of 5-year-olds.
Good. Let's not. Do you remember what I said a belief was?
A belief is something that is totally different in my understanding.
Do you remember what I said a belief was?
Hey, T, do you think there's maybe like a language barrier here? Maybe like English first native speaker versus non-native English speaker? Do you think that has something to do with the debate?
Well, I think the barrier here is just communicating something and not understanding.
Do you remember what I said a belief was?
I don't have to remember what you're saying.
You don't remember what I said a belief was?
Knowing something first.
You don't remember what I said a belief was.
From believing.
Right? Because I gave you a very specific semantic on this. I said it was a proposition which has an attitude towards it. Do you understand that phrasing?
Look, there is no need to undermine anyone in this room.
I didn't undermine anyone. I asked you a question if you understood what I said.
We've got all the dictionaries.
If you don't understand
Let me tell you something.
If you don't understand what I said, just tell me and I'll try and break it down further.
I don't need. It's not about you. It's not about what you say. It's not about what you'll ever say in your whole life.
Whoa. I asked if you understood.
This conversation is redundant.
It's not about you.
I didn't say anything about me. I asked if you understood. Can you repeat my position back to me?
Not everything has to do with you, T.
I didn't ask about me.
I
didn't ask about me. I said, can you repeat my position back to me?
Yo, T, this conversation is redundant. I feel like both of us just go back to
just futile.
Yeah, so once again,
if we really can't establish that knowing something on one hand is diametrically opposite to believing in something when you have got no idea what it is.
That's not what I said, right? So that's not my position.
It's not about what you say, T. You don't understand that it isn't.
No. What you're doing is you're
fundamental linguistically speaking. It is fundamental to any conversation.
No, you're contradicting the semantic that I provided.
Knowing something first.
No, you're contradicting the semantic that I provided.
To believing in something.
But why are you
idea what it
For
is?
what reason are you contradicting the semantic that I provided? What's the reason? Is there something wrong with the semantic I provided?
Because it's about simplicity.
Sorry. Is there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
Talking about essentials for any conversation.
Sorry, was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
It's just waste time. It complicates things.
Was there something wrong with it?
Okay, go on. I'm just bored with you.
Was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
We're talking about building blocks. We need to be simple here.
I agree. Was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
See, the point that I was trying to drive home was when we, investigate our reality, we can clearly see systems being balanced with other systems.
Where do you explain that with evolution?
We have a decision to make, right? We have a decision to make. What are the reasons for me to believe that it was intentional versus the reasons for me to believe that it's not intentional? This is the dialectic that I'm providing.
Sure. So the reason that I would think that it was intentional was that there was evidence of some will which was intending it. That's the reason that I would think it's intentional, right? And so when I talk about something's will that's intending it, I can usually identify the subject of the will, right? I can say, oh, look, it was Cindy who intended to do that. It was her intention.
You have to see the intender in order for something to be intended. Is that what you're suggesting?
No. That's how I label it, how I locate it, right? Like,
what if you were unable to locate?
Without an intender, I'm not sure how I would locate intention. I might infer it through, something I know about how intentions work and how people operate, or I don't have to even use, forget I said people, how subjects operate, right? I can make that inference, right? But it's always going to come down to some subject. Right? At the end of the day, when I talk about an intention, the intention is going to be localized to a subject. It is the subject's intention.
Right. So, and so this is where we would differ, right? You would say that we must be able to locate the intender for me to have confidence that this was intended.
I didn't say that, though. I said that the intention is localized to a subject. And that's how I locate intention, is I understand how subjects operate. I didn't say that we have to locate the subject, right? I said that that it's always going to be subjective. There's always going to be a subject who's doing the intending, right?
I say that. What he's saying, I agree with it. I agree. But what I still want to say, because there's a few things mentioned about the science and scientific method. When we talk about science, are we talking about theories? I just want to understand that part here, because initially I asked about T's beliefs.
Where a theory is a description of a fact that has been tested rigorously and demonstrated to be effective at explaining what it is that we're trying to explain, right?
I disagree with that.
Well, no, okay, but I'm just providing you with a semantic. If you want to use a different semantic, if you want to label a theory, I've got a guess about this, then we're just talking about two different things. It's equivocation, right?
Because a theory, is not a fact, right? Because you have to make that clear that a theory is not a fact, right? Because if it was to give an example, like a theory, for example,
I didn't say a theory was a fact. I said a theory describes a fact. There's a difference.
One second. I just wanted to get clear on T's understanding. I'm trying to understand his answer. Is it necessary to determine who to point at, be able to see or have some experience with the intender? Right.
I've answered this already, right?
And you said no.
I've answered. Allow me to say it again. I might make an inference based upon my understanding of how subjects operate, right? Based on my understanding of how cars are manufactured, when I see a car I've never seen before, I might make an inference about the intention there, simply by virtue of the knowledge of how subjects operate with intention. So I don't necessarily have to know that it was in fact the Ford Motor Company, Detroit, Michigan plant that did it, right? I don't have to know that it was the CEO or the designer that did it. I can make an inference that there was one based on my knowledge.
So why can't you apply that why can't you apply to, say, human beings, right? When you apply that same methodology to human beings, why are you rejecting that there is an intender?
Well, I'm not rejecting anything. I'm just looking at the evidence, and the evidence suggests that we evolved. So I don't have to reject anything.
Okay, so okay. That's the evidence of evolving.
Bro, I already asked you, what is your evidence? What is your evidence that the process of evolution is unintentional? I already asked for that, and you said you don't have any positive evidence for that. It's just that you don't see any evidence for that.
Okay, but here's how this works, right? If we were to postulate that there is an intention behind evolution, that would just form a hypothesis. Then we could go and falsify that hypothesis. I'm all about that type of shit, right?
what would falsify, the fact or the idea that evolution was an intentional process?
I don't know. I haven't fully fleshed out this hypothesis yet. It's your hypothesis, and I'm not doing the work for you.
Well, so then how can you believe in something that you can't substantiate? But you battle with that?
I'm not saying I believe in anything. I'm just saying we have a hypothesis which has not been fully formed yet.
Do you believe we evolved from a lower form of life? Okay. Do you believe we evolved from something that was not human? Was I don't know, a single cell, whatever. Eventually, got to go back to the single cell from the ocean, whatever. So, do you believe that? Do you have that faith?
All evidence suggests that all of life today is a continuation of an unbroken process that leads all the way back to a single cell.
You have no evidence for that, man. That's faith. You
Excuse me.
More religious than we are, man.
Excuse me. I think you meant to ask the question, not tell me what I have.
Yeah.
Right?
Show us the evidence. We came from. Just pick up something recent, like the apes or whatever. 2 million years ago, supposedly from Lucy or whatever. Show us that link.
So, for example, like the fossil record would be evidence of that. Right?
Yeah. Well, what is that? Show us. Where is that?
I think his.
I'm sorry, I just did the fossil record.
What does it show? What does it show? It shows Lucy. It shows Lucy. And then what?
Shows. Excuse me.
Do you see the issue? The issue here.
We evolved from apes.
The issue here is that he can't provide any evidence that this was an unintentional process. That's what I was highlighting.
Once again, Islamic and urban. So it sounds like you're just going around in circles. So then initially when I asked you that do you believe in evolution, you said no, but then you previously said that you subscribe to the understanding of evolution. So like explain that to me so I can understand. Am I correct here?
I said what now?
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense. Like what you just said.
Let me finish. Let me explain it. So you said that you said that you don't believe in evolution, right?
When did I say that?
Well, do you believe in evolution? Yes or no? Just so I can understand.
I observe evolution occurring.
When you say observe, give me one evidence of you observing evolution occurring.
Sure. Populations of genetic organisms accumulate change over successive generations, leading to increased biodiversity through natural selection. See it happening all the time.
So, do you think